Hello everybody and welcome, and this is the Midnight McBride Show, show number 50. Get in, 50. My special guest in the studio today is called Paris Brookes, and Paris is a crypto, how are we going to say it, Paris?
Currency Enthusiast.
A cryptocurrency enthusiast, and we've called this show Midnight in Paris. And before you say anything, it's because of my favourite movie, so Midnight in Paris, I love it. How are you doing, Paris?
Yeah, I'm really well, really happy to be here. Thank you. You?
Yeah, I'm delighted to have you in the studio. I was lucky enough to be put in touch with you via Liam Brown, who's become a good friend of mine now. And he said recently, I know basically nothing about crypto. You know, I thought I did, but I'm realising how little I know. And because of current situations and circumstances in the world, a lot of people, spiritual people as well, had started to ask me about it and said, did I know anybody and what do I know about it?
Yeah.
Very limited knowledge, but all of a sudden it's become very, very relevant, crypto, you know, and people that weren't really interested in money because they're concerned about what's happening at the minute are becoming very interested. And this is something you've studied for quite a while, isn't it? Yeah. I'll briefly say, last night I saw a shooting star, and I haven't seen one for a few years. And I looked up to the sky just before we were obviously doing this show, and I see that as a really, really good omen. And so I went in and meditated. I'm going to swear, meditated like a motherfucker. I meditated for about half an hour because I know when you're experiencing synchronicity and alignment, it's really good to manifest. And there was a new moon yesterday as well, so it was a good time. Yeah,
Powerful, man.
You're also part of a men's group.
Yep.
And Liam's been attending that men's group as well, and I'm going to attend that men's group. I'm going to be coming.
Full power. Also,
something that's unique for this show is I have never had to set the cameras up to accommodate an afro, which is quite unusual because the cameras are set to pick up a particular frame, but if you suddenly increase the height by 6 inches, you have to pan out and then it picks up other things.
Yeah.
You're a challenge, Paris. You're a challenge. So before we get into your life journey, if you've seen the show, Paris, you know what we do is we talk about somebody's journey.
Yep.
And I say your past doesn't define you. It's just the view on your journey to this present moment. That's all it is. But it's really good to find out what drives somebody, what motivates them, and why they're doing what they're doing. It's really good. The background's really interesting for me. But before we do that, what we'll do... And then obviously we're going to talk a lot about crypto, and I'm going to pick your brains with my limited knowledge, and hopefully I'll leave here wiser. But what I want to know is, give us maybe a bit of an outline about crypto. What is it? What's crypto?
So I suppose cryptocurrency, when you speak to people that don't know about it, the first thing that comes to their mind is Bitcoin, right? Yeah. The reason being Bitcoin is the first mover, it's the first in the market.
Yeah.
It's the one.
So crypto covers... There's lots of different types of crypto, and Bitcoin's one kind.
Right, correct. So it's the original first mover, but cryptocurrencies moved from there to now to not just be cryptocurrency, but you also have, for example, utility tokens or coins. So they're used for a specific purpose rather than as a currency. They can be used as a currency as well, but that's not their initial function. So cryptocurrency broadly is a virtual digital currency that is cryptography.
Yes.
And that's just obviously as a security measure.
Yeah. I know from my experience when I first found out about Bitcoin, it was people selling and buying drugs on the dark web.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that a lot of criminal fraternities now, you know, Russian mafia and stuff, they invested in it a long time ago and use it.
Yeah.
You know, so you can buy a lot of things that they won't take cash anymore in some instances.
That's exactly how I heard about Bitcoin, was through the dark web.
Yeah. Whereas now, I think people are viewing it in a very different light, and it being a possible saviour of if, you know, banks were to crash and things like this, where there's another option where your money might be secure.
Yeah, 100% right. It's the newest asset class since the 1600s.
Right. I'm going to nod and pretend I know what you mean. And what I find funny is, I remember Liam saying, I know this guy and he's a crypto expert. I know you don't want to call yourself that, but a guy that's very knowledgeable about cryptocurrency. And then I saw a picture and I thought, What, the guy with the pointed shoes with the tight jeans and the afro? He's the guy. Because unfortunately, as human beings, we do judge a book by its cover a lot of the time, and we make assumptions. And you are not what I was expecting at all. But when that was sort of a double-sided coin, because when I found out it was you, I thought, we're definitely going to get you on the show. You know, because obviously you've got a bit of a story to tell as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So we'll start with your story, Paris. And Tottenham initially, is that right?
Yeah.
Good.
Born in Tottenham.
In your show notes, it says that one of your first memories was being locked in a car. You had 3 initial memories, and one of those has been locked in a car. Maybe tell us about that.
Yeah, so I must have been in between the ages of 3 or 4, I suppose. And I remember being taken out with my dad, my biological dad. We're in this car, and it was raining. It was grey, typical English weather. And he basically said to me, "Wait here for a minute." I didn't know where he was going, what he was doing. If I look back, what I understand now as a record shop is where he went into, but at the time I had no clue what the building was he went into. Do you know what I mean? And I was there for hours. He left me for hours, and I was trying to smash the window. I was crying my head off, panicking.
Yeah, well, it's neglect, really.
Yeah,
isn't it? You know,
yeah, crying for help, and people were just looking at me walking past. No one came to the window.
That being one of your first memories, it's not a good start, really, is it?
Not really, no, not when you look back at your childhood and that's what you remember.
I have some memories similar to that. One is being left in a car, and I was outside of Bookies, and I was old enough to be able to tell the time.
Right.
You know, I knew what the time was, and I was in the car for 3 hours. You know, and it's funny, you see, that memory is, you know, 40 years old, over 40 years old, and it's still there. You know, you remember some of these significant events, don't you? On the flip side, to a parent or an adult perhaps, it's not a significant memory, but when you're that young, these are your formative years. You're like a sponge soaking things up, and if you have a bad experience then, quite often it can take a long time to rinse that, you know, and get rid of it.
You're tuning your mind into the experience as well, so you're going to attract more of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You also mentioned that you found your mum's medicine.
Yeah.
Do you know what it was?
You know what? I've been meaning to ask her. She has told me, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, she was down the hallway. I remember she was blow drying her hair at the mirror, and I was on the bed. Biological was asleep at this point, and her bag was there. So I remember checking down to see if she was looking or not, and she wasn't. So I've gone over to the bag, gone through it. I don't know what I was looking for, and I found this pillbox.
Yeah.
Took them out, and if I remember, I think they were red and blue, the capsules, and I think I ate the lot.
God.
Ate the lot, and
see, you're lucky you survived that. That could have been terminal. Actually.
Yeah, well, yeah. They had to pump me with charcoal. I remember them shoving the tube down my throat. I had my skin went all not blistery, but weird. I remember just looking at it and it'd be weird. I don't know how I remember that because I can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could have died.
Charcoal, if somebody's got severe toxic poisoning, or if they've, you know, it can work with certain drugs as well. And it's currently in my water bottle, which you've just asked me about, bamboo charcoal. It filters and soaks up and takes all the toxins out of your body, you know. So to put that in, it's obviously you had, severe poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still here, baby.
Yeah. So then you go to Chingford.
Yep.
Yeah. Where's Chingford? I don't know.
So Chingford is on the outskirts of London and Essex. So it's not quite Essex. It's just literally where Epping Forest is. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So it's a mix between the two because you've got Londoners and Essexers there. So I pretty much grew up there. I grew up there from the age of 5 to 12. So I went to school there. All my friends were there. My family lived there.
And your mum met your now, stepdad, but your dad.
Yeah.
I've got a joke about this in the notes. Liam's been lead and done a lot of acting. I haven't. I've done some acting. I've been in a couple of shows and things, but they were bit parts, small parts. And in the notes, for example, it'll say something and then it'll say loud bang or it'll say laugh. And in your notes you put da-da-da-da-da, and this is my real dad, cry. It read like a script, but clearly it was an emotional time.
Yeah, it was. I think, obviously, as a child growing up without a father figure, it was something that I yearned for. So when this man stepped into my life, I idolized him, and I was obviously really excited that he was going to be my dad. So I remember asking my mum, and she was like, "Well, why don't you ask him?" And I'd assume, obviously, she's told him like what's happening. So I remember I was sat in his car. He had this sports car. I don't think they even make it anymore. I can't remember the brand. It's something like I've never heard of apart from when he's told me. I'll have to find out. But I thought it was, he used to tell me like it was a Ferrari or something. Do you know what I mean? I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I remember just sat there chilling with him, and I was just like, "So, like, are you going to be my dad, or are you going to be my new daddy?" And he was like, "If you want me to be."
Yeah, beautiful, that Paris. Beautiful.
And he's been my dad ever since.
Yeah, I mean, how old is he now?
He's 50 in January.
50. He's only 2 years older than me. I could be your dad. God, I feel old now. Yeah. How old are you, Paris?
I'm 28 years young.
You're a puppy. Yeah. But in those 28 years, as Liam Brown, obviously, when I did the show with him, he pointed something out which was, quite profound, is it's irrelevant about how old you are. It's what experiences you have in that time. And some people that are 10 have lived more of a life than some people that are 90.
Definitely.
So now, Paris, this bit, as I was reading this on my own, I belly laughed on my own. And this is where you and your mates get water pistols and you fill them with piss. You fill them with your urine.
Yeah.
And tell us that story.
So it's not my proudest moment. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't tell many people this one.
Well, it's too late now.
Well, that's it. Everyone's going to know about it now.
And it's hysterical, and it shows intelligence. As a young child, you thought, I know, I can use this and put piss in it.
I'll make this weapon an actual weapon rather than a toy. So I actually come up in the men's circle the other day when we had to share something that we wouldn't usually tell anyone. So the first week I said something else, and the second week I was like, actually, I should have said this, so I told everyone. What we did is we got the water pistols that you get from Christmas crackers, the little mini plastic ones, and brought them into school. Initially, we filled them up with water, but we got bored of that within 5 minutes. We wanted to be a bit more mischievous. So me and my friend, we went to the toilet, pissed in them, obviously. We were sat there giggling, trying to, pissing all over our hands as well, as you can imagine.
The hole in them very small.
So we hadn't quite mastered the art of handling our tools yet. So we filled it up. We've gone out to the playground now. I think it was lunchtime. And we just start squirting people in the face with it, running around. And they're none the wiser. They think we're just squirting them with water, right? And for some reason, I suppose it's just being young and naive, we told everyone what it was. Yeah. So as soon as we told everyone, they told the teachers. Yeah. So the teachers snatched it off us, dragged us to the...
They'd be like, I've got to tell you off, son, but full marks for ingenuity.
Dragged us to reception, rang our parents, and the woman said to my mum, "Your son, I've never witnessed something so disgusting in all my life. You need to come pick him up right now. It's an absolute disgrace what he's done." Yeah. And follow him with what I actually had done. Yeah.
You're bloody kids. I mean, yeah. And then into your life comes this head teacher.
Yeah.
Had quite a big impact on you, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He changed my life. I often reflect about him and the way he treated me and what he did for me, because school, I love being at school because I was surrounded by my friends, but the lessons, they didn't stimulate me. I would always finish everything that we were set early, and then what I'd do is then talk to everyone else. But of course, they haven't finished, so I'd get in trouble for distracting people.
Yeah, exactly.
And the teacher wouldn't give me any more work to do.
Yeah. I can 100% relate to this, because it's this question that you're asked, are you intelligent? And some people say, well, I don't know. Or you can be honest and say, I know I was a highly intelligent child. I mean, highly intelligent child. I didn't start school until I think I was 6 or 7, because I lived in Africa, so I didn't go to school. Oh, wow. Then I came back, I swapped. I went to 6 or 7 different schools. I moved around a lot, so I didn't really embed with certain teachers and things at a young age. And I still ended up sitting my GCSEs and A-levels and exams early. They couldn't give me the information I needed to keep my mind stimulated quick enough. And consequently, I became disruptive. And I said in the pre-show chat, I remember getting a biology book. I read it in 2 days. I'd done the syllabus in 2 days. It was, a year's worth of work.
Which is amazing.
What do I do now? So I started inventing how, different things you can do with a Bunsen burner. And I got in trouble for that. So getting what you need as a child is difficult. I know if there's a class of 30 kids, they learn at different rates and stuff. But this guy cleverly got you interested in, the way to really deal with it is extracurricular activities, because if you're doing stuff outside the school that keeps your mind interested, it'll keep you out of trouble probably. And chess, and I did the same. I ended up in chess club.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's wicked. So he sat me down, and he basically told me that for 2 weeks I'd do nothing but sit in his office with him, which obviously being 7 or 8 or whatever I was at the time, I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst thing ever. I'm dreading it. But he said like, I should really expel you for this. Mm-hmm. So I suppose looking back, I'm really grateful that he didn't.
Yeah.
And I suppose the reason was because he thought, you know what, let me put some time and effort into this boy, because there's something missing that he needs.
He saw the ingenuity of pissing a water pistol. And saw, no, but clearly you're intelligent, but it's not being directed in a managed way. And he saw the potential in you. Could see the spark in your eye and thought, we can do this. You know? And that, what a beautiful man, because if more people, rather than just thinking it's a naughty, disruptive child, he's got the devil in him, he's no use. That's it. There's a way, nurtured correctly, intelligent children create space stations and, works of art and things like that.
Every child can do it, but you have to nurture them. That's the problem. So I had teachers tell me that, if I carried on the way I was going, I'd be in prison or be a rubbish collector or something like that. Not that I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
we call it a bin man.
A bin man, yeah. I was going to say garbage.
Garbage disposal expert.
Yeah, I watched loads of American cartoons growing up, so sometimes my English, I used to say sidewalk and trash can. So that's why I got stuck with it, because like, where's the English word for that gone? So he taught me how to play chess for those 2 weeks. He spoke to me a lot as well. I can't remember what he said, but he was guiding me and giving me advice. And after the 2 weeks, he said to me, there's just one thing I want you to carry on doing. And I was like, what's that? He's like, keep playing chess. I didn't have a chessboard. I was like, how am I going to do that? He's like, well, we have a chess club. So come to the chess club and I'd like you to be on the team. And I didn't even know there was a chess club at school. It was during lunch times, I think like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So that meant not playing out in the playground with my friends, playing football or like chasing each other and doing normal things, pissing in water guns. But I said, all right. I listened to him, and it was a complete opposite of what I was like, or I thought I was like at the time. So for me to say, all right, was like...
See, an intelligent child as well, when you get introduced to chess, you're like, so just run that by me again. And you explain, and you start thinking, my God, there's millions of combinations here, infinite possibilities. And if you're an intelligent child, it expands your mind. You start to think, whoa, and you really have to, with chess, you want to try and think 6 or 8 moves ahead, and that can be, 1,000 different possibilities. And
that's it.
It stretches your mind. It's like using your muscles. If you use it, it grows. So
that's it.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I always believe that I want to teach children now, because I know how much it's done for me. I think that's really important that actually kids do pick up chess, even if they don't play for ages, just for a bit, so it gets that fire in their brain going if they didn't have it, and it can start connecting.
I know from being at school the difference between a teacher that's just going to school to get paid and one that's actually genuinely interested and makes you feel special.
Yeah.
And if you get on with that teacher, if you like that teacher and you have a relationship with that teacher, you learn. When you're in a happy state, when you're enjoying bliss, you soak things up like a sponge. When you're stressed and you're anxious, nothing goes in.
That's it.
So if you're happy, you get along with your teacher, and what you're doing is fun, you learn exponentially. You learn at 10 times the rate.
100%.
So a good teacher is amazing. Paris, in your notes, you talked about you call her your nan, your gran, your nan, and that at this age, then you come to the part of your journey where she's diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. Maybe tell us a bit about how that unfolded and, what you were feeling at the time as well,
So I suppose my nan was kind of like my mother figure growing up, because My mum was always working and my dad was always working. Although they were obviously together, I didn't have much of a parent structure at home. I only saw them in the evenings, really.
Right.
So my nan was essentially my guardian. She looked after me, she picked me up from school, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So she got diagnosed with cancer when I was 7. I didn't understand, again, what cancer was really. I've heard people say it, but it wasn't, I didn't, conceptualize it as a serious thing.
Yeah.
But I remember mum coming home and saying like that she had 2 weeks left to live. So we need to get ready for her to pass away.
That's some blow, that, isn't it? Because I mean, obviously, any diagnosis where it's terminal and they say we've got 6 months or 12 months, but to say 2 weeks, it's not a lot of time, is it?
No, not at all. It's like, but I think I buried a lot of my emotions at that age. I think maybe due to my biological leaving, I felt that I had to look after myself and be strong. And although I had my mum and my nan looking after me and my dad now, I still maybe didn't want to put that trust into other people.
Yep.
So in answer to your question, how was I feeling at the time? I honestly can't remember. It's only actually this year that I realised how I was feeling, because I read Dr. Demartini's book, The Breakthrough Experience. And one of the chapters is essentially you go through chapters in your life where you perceive it as negative and you balance it out. So you find the positives. You go through like 3 or 4 different steps to go through it. And one of the things I balanced out was my nan passing away, and I saw the positive from it.
Yeah.
That made me cry nearly as much as I've ever cried in my life.
Yeah. I think, for example, you're thinking 2 weeks notice, that's terrible, but you had 2 weeks notice. Some people get none.
Yeah.
So you get 2 weeks to think,
of
okay, let's make this a very special 2 weeks and spend some quality time with them. So if you can see it like that, it's a gift, in some ways. So
she did.
Some people get 6 months and they last 7, or some people get a year and they last, maybe 18. But she 2.5 timed it. She doubled it, So she must have been some kind of lady.
Yeah, she was. She was incredible. Something else we were talking about at the men's circle this Friday gone, she came up. My intention was to be grateful. So what I balanced was I just wanted to be grateful for the people in my life. And what I was thinking about was her and how she lasted from 2 weeks to 5 years. And I realized that the reason that she held on, because she was a powerful, incredible woman, and something like that wouldn't stop her. But it was also because if she had died within those 2 weeks, I wasn't ready to give that support to mum. So she died exactly the right time when she needed to go, because she knew I was ready to fulfill the role that I needed to fulfill.
Your parents, originally, Paris, are Turkish, is that right?
Dad's side, yeah.
Your dad's side, okay. Your mother English?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And you mentioned about your dad's younger brother that was sort of like your older brother, your uncle, in effect.
Yeah.
I had an uncle, I have an uncle Ender, and he was my uncle, but he's only, I can't remember, 3-4 years older than me or something. So he was always more like a brother than an uncle.
Yeah. That's exactly what I had. He's 2 years older than me, so we went to the same school, same high school. So when Nan was really ill in the last 2 years of her chemo and whatnot, I was round my dad's side of the families. So my nan, Babana in Turkish, she doesn't have much English, so the communication wasn't there. But obviously Honor spoke English because he was born in England. So I saw him as a brother role. I always wanted a big brother, and he showed me a lot. He showed me a lot in my life and taught me loads of things. He actually introduced me to porn.
Oh, right.
Just to share a bit too much.
Yeah.
Remember?
I think we all want an older brother.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have an older brother, and somebody to guide you a bit, maybe. Yeah, and introduce you to porn at a young age.
Which is exactly what I needed.
And then your brother Khan was born.
He was, yeah. He was born the year my nan passed away.
Right. And how old's Khan?
He's 19 now, soon to be
19.
20 in March.
It's a very strong name, Khan.
Yeah.
You know, and the Wrath of Khan there's a few Star Trek movies with Khan in the title as well. But yeah, really strong name. You know.
He's named after Genghis Khan.
There you go. I always liked the name Herod, but I was told that, you know, because of history, that it's not good to use that name. But I think it's a really strong name, Herod. You know?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think there's power in our names, and it's not coincidence we're given the names we're given. My name Paris isn't Paris Hilton or Paris in France. It's Prince Paris Alexander of Troy.
I just assumed it was Paris, France. I thought that maybe that's where you were conceived.
Yeah, that's usually what I get. So
like Brooklyn or this kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
so not quite a romantic story, but one of history. Yeah. And then my brother's obviously named Genghis Khan. So I always say to him, I was like, you're named that for a reason, because you are a conqueror. You need to step into the power of your name.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, really, really strong name, that. And I think your name as a child when you're growing up has a big impact on you. You know, you sort of become that person. I was called PJ, Patrick Joseph McBride, so PJ. I was always called PJ. And if somebody said Patrick, I didn't even turn around. It just wasn't my name. It was PJ.
Yeah.
But then as I got older and I'd been in trouble and I'd done lots of things and stuff, then I decided to be Patrick again. I thought I'd go with Patrick. And then I became Midnight when I present stuff and when I've been doing the writing and teaching meditation. Midnight that's my spiritual name, and it represents when the darkest point of the night starts moving towards the daylight. It's a new beginning, a new start. It's the dawn of a new day.
Like it.
You know, and that's how wicked. I saw it. Anyway, yeah.
That's wicked. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because growing up, I hated my name. I hated it. I would despised it to the point where maybe to my early 20s, I struggled to tell people my name, and I something was holding me back. What's your name? Paris. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's unusual, but it's defined you because,
and
I can, you know, like for instance, Liam, I'll tell him, I say, you know, he's a really good looking chap, and I can say somebody's a beautiful man. None of that bothers me. Other people, some men can't express themselves like that. You're a cool motherfucker. A smooth motherfucker.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
And I think that name, like you say, as you're growing up, might have been difficult and might have been conceived as feminine and lots of things. Now, I bet you're like, I only know one Paris. You know, it's a cool motherfucker. It's a great name.
I love it now, yeah. I'm really happy my mum called me it.
So, who was it that was going to take the antidepressants and you advised them not to when you were a child?
Yeah, so that was my mother.
Right.
So, when my nan died, she took a big hit, to be honest. It was her mum. And her mum was very much in her life, helping her through everything, looking after me so she could work. So the whole dynamic of her life had to change. Mm-hmm. And also, she didn't have someone that was quite prominent in her support circle. So her passing away, mum didn't take it. She was my mum was an angry woman when she was younger. I remember a lot of times being in the car, like someone would cut her up and she'd be like, you fucking, like screaming heads off, like, come on then, you like, she's from Dagenham. I don't know if you heard of that area.
Yeah.
So she's a Dagenham girl by heart. So she didn't do anything. She wasn't dealing with it well. She didn't have any coping mechanisms that were positive. She was smoking. I can't remember if she really drank, but not a problem drinking anyway, but she didn't do anything positive to kind of process what was going on. So her mental health just declined, and it got to the point when I was 14, I think it was 13, 14. So a couple of years after Nana died, she picked me up from school once, and we went to the supermarket, Morrison's. I don't know if they still have pharmacies in the supermarket or not.
They're doing some. I know they're doing Asda and things
Yeah. So we went to the pharmacy and she got a prescription, and obviously me being me, wondering what's wrong with mum. Obviously she's got medication. So I asked her and she told me they're antidepressants. And I don't think I really have ever heard of or even looked into depression. I probably heard people say it, but I never understood again what depression was or how it affected people or how you get it.
Yeah.
So she told me that she had it, and the doctor prescribed it to her, and I just looked at her and I said, "You don't need that." I was like, "You can do it without it, please, Mum. Don't take them." And she looked at me and she went, "You're right." And she just, the pharmacy was here, the bin was there, and she just put them in the bin and we walked out.
See, I think that's a beautiful story, because it doesn't matter what education you've got as regards, you know, even if you're a scientist or a doctor or whatever, the more powerful thing is somebody's energy. And you said to your mum, you're a child, and you had a feeling and said, "Mum, not feeling good about this, don't do it." And she listened. And I think that's beautiful. And the thing is as well, as you know, antidepressants, they prescribe them like they're going out of fashion now. Want everybody on them, and I think they're a terrible thing, to be honest. Tablets are last resort.
Definitely.
There's many other options before that. You know.
100%.
Yeah, but you also had the wisdom. You sort of knew that they weren't a good thing.
Yeah.
But
I still thought at the time that other medications were a good thing.
Yeah.
I had no idea of alternate therapy, medications, holistic paths. So it's strange that I thought that, because I fully believed in paracetamol, ibuprofen, any other drug, antibiotics.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I knew that wasn't right.
Well, yeah, again, that's your intuition.
Yeah.
You know. Your mum then, this is the start of her spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she throws the pills away and decides then that she's going to make some positive changes, make some good decisions. I say a successful life is simply this: it's one good decision followed by another. When you make two good decisions in a row, you've got two reference points, you change direction, you gain momentum, and you're off.
That's
so
it.
A successful life, two good decisions can change your life. It can move you in a different direction. And you say that she started meditating, and you take the piss, and as a kid, of course, you know. And at that stage, you probably don't fully understand what it is, or you know.
She used to explain to me what it is and how to do it. "Oh, come do it with me." She used to go to the garden and sit under the tree, or it was like a bush, and she'd just be sat there meditating. So when she'd come in, I'd go, "Ooh," just like winding her up.
Did you have an afro back then as well, or not?
My hair was as long as this, but I never used to brush it out. I only did it a couple of times, maybe for like Halloween or something.
Right.
So I've got like a chameleon hairstyle. Sometimes I have afro, sometimes it's down and curly, braided, whatever, tied back. So I did, and I didn't. Then my hair fell out when I was 16. That's another story.
Really?
Yeah. For prom.
Right. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So she was meditating, doing affirmations. She read a lot of Wayne Dyer.
Yeah. I've read almost every single one of his books.
Yeah.
And the godfather of spiritual transformation. What a beautiful man. He wasn't an enlightened being, like I'd say maybe Sadhguru is, or you know, but he's a great starting point, a transition for people that want to, you know, they're not happy, they're suffering, they want to improve their lives.
Yeah.
And some of the spiritual stuff seems a bit airy-fairy to them. He's that stepping stone. And what a beautiful man. I was really upset when he died, you know, really upset.
So was she.
Yeah, Wayne Dyer. Yeah, what a guy. So at school, you said that you always thought people saw you as Marmite. And that made me laugh a lot. Is that because you either like it or you don't?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was very, very outspoken. I wasn't afraid to speak my opinion or how I felt about things, not personally, but if I didn't agree with something, I'd say it. Yeah. So some teachers appreciated that, other teachers didn't appreciate that. And I think a lot of my friendships were the same as well, because I like to say I tried to keep it as real as possible.
Yeah, and I think brutal honesty is sometimes the healthiest thing you can do. And you don't want to be told what you want to hear. You need to be told what you need to hear, you know, the truth. That's the way to do it. And in doing that, you'll alienate some people, but then there's other people that'll love you for it. I remember one instance where there was a guy in the pub, two guys in the pub. One of these guys, I used to buy him a pint every time I saw him. "Hey, how you doing?" and what have you. And then I found out that he'd said to somebody that he couldn't stand me, right? He didn't like me at all. And it properly knocked me off my balance. I couldn't believe it that this guy. There was another guy who went in the pub. We didn't speak. We ended up in a punch-up. Couldn't stand each other. But he'd said exactly what was on his mind. He said, "I don't like you. Don't like anything about you. I don't like what you're saying. We became best mates because we clearly were similar people. We had different opinions and everything, but the fact is we respected each other for just saying it like it is, and we became really good mates. The other guy, I couldn't look him in the eye. I was really upset, so brutal honesty sometimes is the best way.
That's all you need. Just be honest with people.
Yeah.
And hope for the same in return.
You were also a big sport Billy, weren't you?
Yeah.
Tell us some of the sports you were doing at school.
So I was on the football team, basketball team, and hockey team. I played netball in junior school as well, which is obviously mainly girls.
Yeah.
I tried to join that in secondary school, but of course the rules don't allow it because you can't mix boys and girls. So I wasn't unfortunately allowed on the netball team. My football career ended in the first year of school because I was a party to some boys that were throwing stones at the other school bus as it was leaving after the game. So I got called to the head teacher's office, running theme, and he said to me, "You're not ever going to play football for this school again." So from the age of, 12, 13, first year, year 7, I probably had played about 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
I was banned for life, and I never...
Well, I can relate to all of those. Rounders was the thing at my school, and boys weren't allowed to play rounders. But if you were naughty, they actually made you, this is what they did at my school, made you put a skirt on and go and play rounders with the girls. Hey, I was naughty a lot, intentionally. I'd rather I wanted to play with the girls.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Whoa. I also played rugby, and I only got 2 or 3 games into the season, and I sort of garroted a guy. I grabbed his top, twisted around his neck. He was coughing up blood, and I was banned for this. He said, you shouldn't be playing sport. Basically, something wrong with you. So I wasn't allowed to do that. Football, I played for a long time, and after I left school, we played at a pub team, and I joke about this, but the pub was called Fanny's.
Right.
Because the lady used to own it was called Fanny Moss. But we had real men come in fannies put on the T-shirts, on the shirt. I think it's hilarious, actually.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So maybe tell us about prom then. It's not in the show notes. What happened?
So prom. So what we did in prom, obviously, it's when you're 16, you do it at the end of secondary school. Mum has this bright idea to get my hair permed, which is essentially making curly hair curlier.
Curlier, yeah.
It's what old dears have,
like
right?
Rinklets.
Yeah. So obviously you can't see it now because it's brushed out, but my hair is normally curly.
Yeah.
So she takes me to the hairdresser to get my hair permed. It kind of looks exactly the same as it did anyway, just a bit more defined curls.
Yeah.
So go to prom. I've got this all black suit on. My mum's put Diamantes down the trim.
Nice.
I've got RVHS in Diamantes on the back, which is
Smooth motherfucker.
Roden Valley High School.
Yeah. You're like a pimp, aren't you?
Yeah, looking at the picture,
awesome.
It is a bit like that, to be honest. But I thought I was cool.
Yeah.
So that was fine. And then I started sixth form and my hair started falling out. So this was like 8 months after the prom. Went to the hairdressers, told her that I had my hair permed, and she was like, "Did you get permed again?" I was like, "No." I was like, "You have to have a follow-up treatment when you get your hair permed, otherwise it falls out." So where my hair was long and I used to wear a headband, obviously the tension from the headband had started snapping off where it was weak. So my hair was like that long, but I had strands of really long hair for ages. And then eventually once we realised what had happened, I had to cut the whole thing and start again.
I mean, that's what happened to me. I got my hair permed and it fell out. Not really.
I was lucky than you, it seems.
I'm just bald. Now, when we chatted before the show, there are so many things in your story, and I had this with Liam as well, where things that have happened to you, almost identical things have happened to me. And this is a corker. I remember going in a nightclub, it was Ritz's in Bolton, and I was smoking a lot of pot at the time. I was taking LSD and amphetamine. I think those were the only drugs I'd done at that point. It was early days.
Just a few.
And we're going into Ritz's, and it was a quarter. I had a quarter of drawer on me in my pocket, but it was like squidgy black, Anyway, we're going in, and I realised we're searching everybody, and I didn't have time to get it down my undies without being seen and stuff, so I decided to eat it. And I ate a quarter of drawer, and I was about an hour in, it started kicking in, and I was tripping for 7 days. 7 days I was tripping. I thought, you start to panic because you think, am I ever going to be normal again? 'Cause
Yeah.
you lose concept of time and stuff, don't you?
I hear you.
And it was about a week later, I think it was a Friday to a Friday, I came down and I was laying in my bedroom and I was still tripping and I had dolphins swimming around me like this, and then the dolphins faded away, and for the first time I thought, thank fuck for that. I was normal again, and I was scared at the end, because I thought maybe it'd last a couple of days, but edibles obviously can last a long time.
That's it.
And if you make, for example, if you're having a cannabis cake, you're in Amsterdam, you're having a cannabis cake or something like that, it's only got like 0.3 or 0.4 of a gram of cannabis in it. You know, so eating a quarter of a draw in 1/8's a lot, You've done it too, haven't you, Paris?
Yeah, I wonder where you were going with that one. I have. So 18, I'm going to Amsterdam. My dad's going with his mates, and my friend Harley's coming. So I managed to get hold of an eighth of weed, and I only smoked weed maybe 3 or 4 times before that, from the age of 16 to then, so 2 years.
You can just buy it in cafes over there and everything, can't you?
Yeah. So I've got now the eighth of weed, and I messaged my mate Harley, and so I was like, what should I do with it? He's like, eat it. So I'm driving at this point. I went to Krispy Kreme's, bought myself a jam donut, and I put it in the jam donut.
This is the level of your cannabis education at this point. Get a lump of weed, put it in a cake, and eat the cake. not decarboxylate the cannabis to produce this.
So I've done that. I've left it. My plan was to eat it after sixth form. But it gets to lunchtime, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it now. I've got a free period afterwards, and then at the end, I've got ICT. So ICT was a breeze.
Got a good half an hour. I can eat a quarter of a week.
Yeah. So I've eaten it, told my mates everything's fine, had the free period, nothing's happened yet. Get into my ICT lesson, nothing's happened yet. I'm just there. One of my best mates sat next to me on my computer. And all of a sudden, the teacher's talking, but I can't really hear what she's saying anymore, and I feel really heavy, and I'm looking around.
Everybody looks weird.
Yeah, and
the
everything's
face is distorted and big ears.
Yeah. And I was just like, shit.
I'm tripping.
Yeah, and I'd never taken psychedelics at this point, so I wasn't well versed in it. So I'm starting to panic now. I'm here thinking, right, is this going to stop? And it's just getting worse and worse. I can feel like my neck's tightening up.
Yeah.
I can't breathe properly. I'm thinking, oh God, what about if the teacher asks me a question? Does everyone else know I'm high? And it got to the point, it's actually the first panic attack I ever experienced, because the feeling I got in my neck got to the point where it felt like my artery was blocked and I couldn't feel the blood going through. And then I heard a pop.
Yeah.
Or it was more like a bang, to be honest. It was like, and I just stood up.
Probably just somebody dropping a pen behind you.
Yeah, some other sound.
Yeah.
I've stood up and just ran out the room to go to the toilet. I've made my way there somehow, put my head under the sink, splashing my face with water, drinking it. Nothing's happening. It's not fixing it. So I'm in there for about 10 minutes now. I'm like, right, I've got to go back to class because she's going to wonder where I am. I go back to class and my mate's got my phone in my hand, right? So he's like, where have you been all this time? I'm like trying to explain to him, I'm panicking. I went to the toilet, I've eaten weed, and he's like, no, you haven't. You've just gone to meet a girl. So this is how messed up it is. This girl that I was kind of chatting up, she was stood outside my lesson because she had a free period and we were messaging, right?
Yeah.
So he's gone down my phone and he's seen that I've been messaging her. So then when I've came back, he's not believing me when I'm saying like, I'm tripping balls right now. I need help. I think I'm going to, it was like something from the In-Betweeners. And he's going, you're chatting shit, mate. Here's like, I can see her outside. Here's the messages. I'm literally shaking him like, please, mate, I just need to get out of here. Yeah. So he eventually realizes that there's something up.
Yeah.
I go, takes me to my car because my car's in the car park. I lock the door and I just pass out. A couple of hours later, I wake up to all my mates around the car, banging on the window. So I get up, I'm like, you're right, mate. Yeah.
My views, I don't even think cannabis should be illegal. And I think anybody that takes any drug, and I don't smoke cannabis, but if somebody wants to smoke it, I think they should be able to. It's a lot less destructive than alcohol. And
100%.
The other drugs, most of the drugs that are illegal, good or bad, it should be your choice. You're a sovereign being, and what you put in your body should be your decision. You're in charge. You are not a criminal. You might be having fun. You might need help. You might be actually doing yourself some harm. Still your choice. Yep. Nobody else should have the right to tell you what to put in and out your body.
100%.
Yeah. I've said that a number of times on the show, you know. And you're not a criminal. You're not harming anybody else. A drug dealer, okay, we could talk about that, and you know that's you know a criminal offence. But taking cannabis, even taking cocaine and ecstasy and stuff, you're not a criminal. You might be a fool, or you might be at a festival and having a great time. Depends what you're doing. But whatever, you're not a criminal. You know, I think it's crazy. I think we've got that so wrong, you know.
It's an easy way to put people in prison, though, isn't it?
Very.
And make money off of them.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're off on your travels. You finished sixth form.
Yeah.
And you're off to Malaysia.
I started in Thailand. I went to Thailand first. So we actually flew out on Boxing Day. Spent Christmas. So I went with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Spent Christmas at hers and then Christmas at mine as well. And then the next day we left for Thailand, Bangkok. Spent a couple of days in Bangkok and made our way to Koh Phangan.
Yeah.
For
I've been to those places, and beautiful places.
Yeah.
What goes on tour stays on tour, I think, is the term they use. I mean, obviously we were a bit younger and we were having a lot of fun. But yeah, what a place, Thailand. Yeah, we went to the full moon party. And we had mushroom shakes there at the Serenity Bar on the cliff. You get these shakes, and we had 2 of those, and off we went. And it was awesome. Really good. So after Thailand, then you went to Malaysia, and you said, Paris, this is where you had your first awakening.
Yeah. So Malaysia, actually, I went there before I went to uni. That was before I left to go traveling. So I went to Malaysia when I was 19. I took a gap year between sixth form and going to uni because I was unsure about what I wanted to study. And I wanted some time to chill as well. I'd been doing education forever.
Anybody I speak to, I say, take that year then, because as soon as you get older, you get a job, proper job, and then you might get a mortgage, or you're in a relationship, or you have a kid and something. You only get some of these windows. They only come into your life now and again. And when you get the window to travel, because as human beings, we were born to roam, to experience new people, cultures, places. Traveling is just one of the best things you can do, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone to go somewhere and see something different that you have no idea about.
Absolutely, yeah. And it can change you. I think traveling and meeting different peoples and different cultures changes you for the better. You know, I went to India. We shot a movie in India, and I wasn't in the movie. I was, I think, second producer. They give me some fancy title, but
Yeah.
And while we were shooting the movie, we went to Gujarati, and they've got no money, very poor, and all they have is clothes and basic food and stuff. And they're some of the happiest, most beautiful people I have ever come across.
Yeah.
And so anybody that thinks money makes you happy, in theory, then all the rich people are happy and all the poor people are sad. Not true. The less you have, the more you see.
That's it. Why do celebrities top themselves when they've achieved everything they've ever wanted?
Yeah,
because they realise they're not happy.
Yeah. If your pursuit is money, any decision ever made purely for monetary gain is a bad one. Follow your passion first, the money comes second.
100%.
Every time.
100%.
So you're in Malaysia, and tell us about your first awakening.
So originally we were meant to be going to Thailand, but me and my friend hadn't bothered organising it. So Mum's done her due diligence and found a volunteering scheme for us to go to. So we went to Malaysia. It was 4 weeks. The first week was right in the deep end. We turned up to this hostel. I've only just learned what a hostel was as I've walked through the door. Turned up for the hostel, checked in. There's no one else here at this point. It was meant to be a group of 20 of us. We're the first 2. So we're chilling. We stayed in Kota Kinabalu.
Say that again.
Kota Kinabalu.
Kota Kinabalu.
Kota Kinabalu. Kota Kinabalu.
Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah, in Borneo. So we stayed there for a night or 2. The rest of the gang turned up, and we got taken to this village. It was about 3 or 4 hours out from the city. We had to get a minibus through the jungle, then a boat down the river.
Sounds awesome.
Went past all the palm trees, and we saw the deforestation, acres upon hectares of it. And they were telling us about it and how obviously, you know, orangutans and other species of animals live here and they're being destroyed. All this land is infertile because of it. So that was like the first thing I saw of like destruction by man. But it was the village where I opened my eyes a bit, because what happened was we got split up into pairs. So I was lucky, I was with my friend. Everyone else got split up and we got put with a family. Yeah. So we get put with our family, go in there, they don't speak a word of English, go through the door, they've got like a small, one of those old school TVs that were massive, but it wasn't massive, it was a small screen. And that was it. The floor was wooden, there was holes everywhere, everything creaked. The shower was a bucket at the back in the pitch black. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever had to do, because I had to wash myself because it was like 35 degrees, humid, monsoon season. But I really didn't want to walk out the back across this boardwalk to go to the shower and wash myself in pitch black. Anyway, so I was smoking on the balcony one night with my friend, and we're watching the house opposite us, and there were some kids just playing around just in the road on their porch, wherever. And they were literally, I kid you not, playing with sticks and stones with rags on. And the laughter, like I can still remember it now as if they're laughing behind me. The laughter that I heard.
Joy.
Yeah, it was pure joy and happiness. And it was just such pure energy. And they were so happy in what they were doing. And I was just like, something clicked. I was like, wait, they don't have anything.
Yeah.
And then from that, I started observing the other people in the village and how happy they were and accommodating. And they were just lovely, peaceful people with real joy in their faces. And I started to realize that money don't make you happy.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Human beings are the only sentient beings on this planet that go around and they kill everything they come into contact with. They kill animals, they kill the planet, they kill each other en masse.
Yep.
Then also human beings have consumed and caught this disease called greed. And they want more and more and more. Material stuff, more than you need. In nature, nothing ever has more than its needs. Even lions, okay, they kill, but they take what they need.
That's it.
You know, they don't go and kill 50 other animals, they kill what they need.
Stockpile them.
Yeah. Human beings, we want to accumulate as much as we can. You can't take it with you. If I've got a lot of something, quite often I'm depriving somebody else of it. It's greed and consumed by material wealth and possessions. And until you figure that out, you are going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Because life starts when you realise that everything you know, all the best things in life are free. You know, material possessions weigh you down, you get attachment to them, and then you get worried about losing it, creates stress, then there's arguments about money, and that's something we all need to get to, and most of the people I know have, but some still haven't, you know.
Different world, isn't it?
Yeah, some people pursue wealth, and then when you ask them why, they can't even remember why. It's just all because they know. They don't even know why they're doing it, you know. I want peace, I want joy, I want happiness, I want bliss, I want to be around people that love me and make me feel good, and I want to help people whenever I can. That's a good moral compass, you know. Not directing your life by what's going to make me the most money, what's going to get me the most power, what's going to get me the best job, what are the people going to think of me and my status. That is not the compass to navigate through life. And that's why I always say careers advisors all need to get careers advice because they always point in the direction, the job that's going to make you the most money, rather than does this make me feel good and does it benefit others? Those are the only two questions you need to answer, you know.
We get blinded, but I need to make money. I need to make loads of it.
Yeah.
What do people think if I don't make 50k, 60k, 70k, 100k?
Yeah.
Make 10k and be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah. If you're passionate about something, you love what you do, you won't feel like you're working. Other people, you'll emit this positive energy. Other people will be attracted towards you. And generally, you'll be very successful. And with that, at some point, probably financially rewarded as well.
Becomes part of the parcel.
Yeah. And you just do what you love. It's a simple message, isn't it? Do what you love. Yeah. That's your primary purpose. And then when you're doing that, you can usually help other people and show them as well, you know. I'll stop papping on now, but you can see I write about it and talk about it quite a lot.
I can tell you're passionate about it. I like it.
Absolutely.
It's the key to life. It is the key to life.
It's funny, some of the things we need to figure out, it took me 40 years to figure out a lot of it. Yeah. And it's the simplest things, you know. But, you know, an old saying is there's no pockets in a shroud. And I didn't really get that for a long time. And then, but there's such wisdom in it. You know, whatever you have, you can't take it with you. Somebody asks you, what did you get for Christmas 5 years ago? You can't remember. But if somebody says, do you remember that time we went to Thailand? You're like, oh, yes.
Of course you can.
You remember. It's about experience. It's experiential. Life is about experiences, not about watches and cars and money. Yeah, it's nice to have those things, but do they really matter? No.
That's it.
Anything that you can replace with money isn't really valuable. You know, if you have a watch but then you lose it, but you can go and buy another one, it's not really valuable. An experience only happens once.
That's it.
You know, yeah. Sorry.
No, don't apologise. I love it. I'm feeling it, man. I agree with you 100% what you're saying.
The next part of your journey, Paris, is, you know, I can relate to this. Again, I mean, we'll go through this journey and there's at least 10 key points that are very, very relevant to mine. Also similar with Liam's journey as well, with things that have gone on. But you're back, you've come back to this country and you're partying a lot. You're taking drink, drugs, you're not happy. And tell us about that part. And you get raided at the time as well. So maybe talk us through that.
So from the age of 18, that's when I kind of decided that I wanted to change my mind about how I felt. I didn't understand at the time that I was depressed. But my mum would always say to me, just be happy, just be happy. Whatever you do, just be happy. Just be happy. Mum, I don't know what I want to do. Just be happy. Whatever it is, son, just be happy. So I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? It was my 18th birthday. I went to get a tattoo and I wanted it to kind of mark my decision to not feel the way I felt anymore, because I'd go to bed and I'd be crying and I was just generally sad, although nobody knew it because I wore this mask.
Yeah.
Really, really strong mask where people, even today, if I told people that I was depressed, although I've not been diagnosed with depression, I'd assume that's what I had if I look back and realise how I was feeling and how I was acting. They'd be shocked. They wouldn't have a clue. They'd be like, really? You were always so happy. You always were laughing. You were always making other people laugh.
Quite often the people that display that characteristic, it's overcompensating for the fact that they're really unhappy, isn't it? You know, a lot of people that have taken their own lives are the life and soul of the party, you know, but inside they're dying.
Yeah.
You know, that's common. And I think maybe a description of depression is a sustained, consistent low mood where you lose all your vavavoom. You just start to question, why am I here? What's the point? And
definitely.
You know, it's not good.
So I made that decision when I was 18, my 18th birthday, got my tattoo, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, amen. And then,
where did you put that?
On my ribs.
I was just going to make a joke, but we'll leave it. I won't make that joke on the show.
I think I get an idea what you're going to say. So I got that, and then I went traveling and I experienced the whole, you don't need anything to make you happy. So then I came back and I was going into university, and I think I had this real conflict in my head of, right, I need to be happy. This stuff isn't making me happy, but what is going to make me happy?
Yeah.
So I went through self-discovery in the wrong way because I didn't know how to do it. I was lost. I just went out every weekend drinking, then discovered drugs, started getting into that every weekend, back to back to back to back. Mm-hmm. And of course, it was just making me feel worse. I didn't realise it because I was just doing the same thing.
Obviously, you're not alone. My generation, definitely your generation, you know, if I go to sort of a couple of generations before me, there's old druggies and what have you, but they were all piss pots as far as I'm concerned. You know, I drank a lot, obviously, but it was completely normal for the people I knew. We took drugs. That's what we did. You know, we went through the rave scene. We were taking pills. We started off with LSD and pills and moved on to various other drugs and ended up eventually, you know, with cocaine and whatever. And it was normal, and it's common. Everybody does it, and it's the bit where it goes from fun initially to where it becomes destructive, and then you start to, if you're taking it not because you want to or because you're having fun, but because it numbs the pain. And it can be, then develops into a destructive pattern, and it's very negative, you know. So how did you get out of that? What happened, Paris?
It's a good question. So I went through 20 to 21, 22, maybe in the same cycle. And to be honest, it was probably my ex. My ex calmed me down a lot.
Yeah.
I got with her second year of uni. I got with her. I used to work with her behind the bar at the golf course, and we were like best buddies. We went to this rave one night, and she stayed round, and she said, "You do know I like you, right?" And it was like, what? Because I liked her as well. We never spoke about it because we were best friends.
You become friends, and then you feel like it's
yeah. So we ended up getting in a relationship, but she was much more sensible than I was. So I was kind of like the raging fire, where she was the calm water. So
probably good for you.
Yeah, definitely.
The raid on your house, did that calm you down? Because you said that you had a bit of a scare, and then from that point you thought, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. So at that point, that was probably when I went to this festival, and we could only get X amount of pills rather than just getting a personal amount, and we didn't know anyone else. It was like, well, we're only selling you.
Yeah. You can only have 100.
Yeah. Or nothing. So we had them, and we took them with us, obviously, as you do. And within Creamfields, within an hour of being there.
I've been Creamfields.
Yeah. It was pissing it down with rain. We were in this tent right in the middle, and we sold a lot within like an hour and a half, and I made more money than obviously I've ever made in my life at that period of time. And it got my brain working in a way that I thought, all right, I can make money out of this. This is easy. I'll just do this every weekend. Yeah. This is what I'll do. I'm having great fun, earning loads of money. It's easy. What could go wrong? Yeah. So I ended up buying some more. It was strange because I had the intention to do it, I hadn't executed it. So I was holding on to them. I didn't tell anyone really. It wasn't like I tried to sell them. I just had them, but I wanted to sell them, but I hadn't. There was something that was holding me back, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. So I stashed them away in my bedroom, and my house got raided. So during the London riots, I only found out the other day actually that it happened up here too, didn't it, Manchester? Yeah. So during the London riots, I intelligently, this goes back to what I did with the water pistol, incriminated myself, did something quite naive. Yeah. I did a Facebook status with something along the lines of, just had a great day looting, come back with a new TV, new Gucci shoes, new phone, new laptop. It was clear it was done in jest. Yeah. Apparently not to the police. So it's a really strange turn of events. So what happened was my parents went away for the weekend, and one of my friends was having a house party. So I'd gone back to mine to pick up some of the stuff that I had, grab some weed as well, and go round. So I stashed it all away, and I've gone round to my friends, which was like half an hour away. No, not even that, like 10 minutes away. As soon as I get there, my dad's friend rings me up because he's just come round mine to pick something up. He's got the keys. He's gone, there's police here looking for you. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, they're inside the house. They're looking for you. They obviously wouldn't tell him why. So I'm confused at this point because there's nothing I've done that they could know about. Do you know what I mean? So I'm at my friends now, like absolutely shitting the brick, thinking, what are they after? What have I done? Trying to figure it out, can't figure it out at all. Wait half an hour, and I message the guy back, say, have they left yet? And he doesn't reply. So I'm like, this is weird. Why is he not replying to me? So I get a call about half an hour later, and he goes, mate, they had my phone. They saw the message, so they searched your room again. Oh. They'd already searched your room because obviously I'm thinking they're gonna find what I have. So they searched my room, they found my weed, but they didn't find the pills that I had. Mm-hmm. I've gone back, seen where the box was. The weed was next to it. I don't know how they didn't see it. I don't know if maybe they found it and they thought we're just gonna not bother, which I'd like to believe maybe that's a possibility, but probably not. So they obviously took my computer, took my Xbox, took my TV, took everything in my room. Yeah. I had to go to the police station to be interviewed, but as soon as I stepped foot in there, they said to me, yeah, we're sorry for what's happened, but we do have to go through this procedure now. We can see, obviously, you didn't do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. We do have to talk to you about the weed. We're just going to give you a caution for that. Here's a list of all the stuff that we took. Do you have any questions? So I had one question. My question was, when you counted my money, because I had some money there that was just savings from like birthday, Christmas, whatever that I'd been saving up. Yeah. And I counted it the day I left. Bear in mind, my parents and my family had gone to Brighton, I think it was. So they weren't even at the house at the time. So I said to them, right, so there was £440 there, and you put on here there's £340. So where's the £100? And then the other officer piped up and he was like, I was personally there when we counted the money, so I know that it was 340. Maybe someone else in your household took it. And I was like, mate, I counted the money before I left and there was no one in the house. So you've stolen it. And he was like, well, do you want to make a complaint? So I asked my solicitor and he was like, there's no point. And I was like, you know what, mate, just enjoy the money, whatever.
Yeah. Luke, that's very common. I won't say exactly how, why or what, I know, but when you get arrested by the police and if they seize things that you've got, stuff goes missing. And a lot of the time, if it's drugs or money, you're not going to go back and say, whoa, hang on a minute, I had way more drugs than that. Where's that gone? Or where's this gone? Or they can't, because obviously whatever evidence there is, that's what your case is built on. So that happens a lot. We'd go out on a weekend and I was a drug-taking machine. I mean, people that know me well were staggered by... I mean, it's not to be proud of, but it's just a fact. I took more drugs than anybody that I've ever met. Anybody I've ever encountered, way more. But we'd go on a weekend and we'd get 100 pills, 200 pills sometimes. There'd be a few of us, 4 or 5 of us. We'd run out Sunday night, we'd go and get another 100 pills, this kind of thing. We'd be doing, I won't tell you how much, but a lot of cocaine, anyway, a lot of cocaine. And I've had younger lads who talked to me before, because I'd talk openly about it, and some came to a meditation class and they were talking about cocaine and said, oh yeah, well we did an 8-ball and we did this and that, and they just thought it was a bit of a joke.
Right.
Then we got into a conversation about it because I overheard them and I told them, what I used to do, and then they started to listen, so they were listening about meditation. Once they realised that I'd maybe been where they were, and I said, I've done an ounce on my own, sat in and just done it on my own. An ounce, 28 gram, on a number of occasions. That kind of like a serious amount of drugs. And they were like, that was like 6 months coke for them, So, but yeah, drugs. Ecstasy. It's a funny one with ecstasy because, I don't take ecstasy now. I haven't taken ecstasy for a long time, but it's one of the drugs that I used to enjoy taking it a lot, and we used to take a lot of it. The back end of it, because then that and cocaine went together, I stopped enjoying taking the pills, and the cocaine was, it's very, very addictive. People underestimate how addictive cocaine is. And if you drink, as soon as you have 2 pints, willpower's gone, then you want a bag of cocaine. And so those 3 things all went together, so they all had to go. Until I had a handle on everything, they all had to go. And then I still have a drink now and again, but the other stuff, not really bothered about any of that.